Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Indie Reads Aloud Radio. Today, our special guest is Melinda Taliancich Falgoust. I am so happy I got through that name. Thank you so much, Melinda, for joining us.
You bet. Glad to be here.
I always have such fun talking to you, and I'm really excited that we get to share one of your younger readers' books today. You write multiple genres for grown-ups and for children and of all ages. So I'm super excited that we're not just going to do the normal thing today. We're going to do something for younger audiences. So thank you for doing that.
You bet.
So let me tell you a little bit about Melinda. She's an author whose works have appeared in Reader's Digest, Writer's Journal, the Harlequin Mini-Round Robin ebooks, The Rancher and the Rose, and Thin Ice. Other works have also won awards in competitions around the world, including, okay, now I could go through the list, but you guys just check the show notes. There are so many of them. Just check the show notes. She has also released her first picture book. Well, when she released her first picture book, Lousy Liver, it got more frequent flyer miles than Santa Claus. And let me just explain that for a second. That book actually went to a really nifty place called the Oshima Picture Book Museum in Japan, where it was displayed in the museum's annual event honoring the genre. Her book was the only one to be a representative from the United States. So that's super exciting. I can't even begin to imagine. Someday we'll have you back for a conversation about what that experience was about. I can't even imagine what that was. I'm so glad you're here. I know I'm gushing, but I always gush with the writers that I love. So thank you so much for being here. You're going to read from the Curious Casebook of Katie Q. Putt today, right?
That is correct.
Yay! Can you read us the back matter synopsis to kind of set up the story for everybody?
I would be happy to. Move over, Sherlock Holmes. There's a new detective in town, and her name is Katie Q. Putt. 10-year-old Katie loves a good puzzle. She loves learning about new things even more. And when she uses the facts she discovers to help solve some of Freyburg's most baffling crimes, it's no mystery the bad guys don't stand a chance. From missing monkeys to vanishing valises, Katie's sharp eye for detail helps her police chief father stop crime in its tracks. Now you too can read Katie's casebook and match wits with some crafty criminals in some cool cases. Each chapter also contains a STEM or STEAM activity to help you dust off your detective skills. Learn how to make your own fingerprint powder, paint like Piet Mondrian, and write secret codes to your family and friends. Wondering if you've got the right stuff? Well, grab a clue and read The Curious Casebook of Katie Q. Putt.
Thank you so much for that. I'm so excited to read this book. The minute you said Encyclopedia Brown is the genre style, I got completely hooked. So I'm gonna just sit here and listen with all intention. I can't wait. If you would please tell us which story you're about to read and then read aloud.
So I am actually going to read the very first story in the book called The Clever Cheese Curl Caper. It's not food sabotage, Elmer Green bellowed. Chief Tom Putt stood looking at the large empty space in the chip and snack aisle at the Green Grocer. Greens and Elmer's family had served Freyburg residents for generations. Now Elmer managed the small store. His wife, Louise, ran the cash register. His teenage son, Reggie, bagged groceries and stocked the shelves. Except it seemed he had forgotten to stock the Curly's cheesy cheese curls. Though Reggie swore he had stocked the shelves full the night before, there was now a gaping hole yawning between the potato chips and the pretzel sticks. It was Mike Mulligan. I know it. Elmer's face reddened like the apples in the produce section. Mike Mulligan was Freyburg's most recent citizen. He'd moved from the big city and opened Mulligan's Market right across the street from the green grocer. The chief waved his hand slowly. Now, hold on, Elmer. Why don't we start from the beginning? Well, you know that Curly's Cheesy Cheese Curls are the most popular snack food in Freyburg. Chief Putt rubbed his hand over his midsection. Yeah, I think I might have an idea. Well, until Mike Mulligan opened his store, the green grocer was the only place in town you could buy them. Curly's Cheesy Cheese Curls are a big part of my business. Well, that's dandy, Chief Putt mumbled distractedly. He had just leaned against a canned green beans and now had a crumbly orange stain across streaking the shoulder of his normally pristine uniform. Oh, it's not dandy, it's disastrous, Elmer moaned. Mulligan started stocking them in his store. And what's worse, he's stealing my supply right under my nose. The chief forgot about the stain and looked at Elmer. Well, now that's a very serious accusation, Elmer. Can you prove it? Of course I can. I left the store around 6 last night. Reggie stayed behind to finish stocking the shelves. We had just gotten a delivery of canned goods, Elmer began. Reggie picked up where his father had left off. That's right. And then I left around 6:30, locked the back door, and headed straight home. Mrs. Green nodded. Reggie knows I like to serve dinner promptly at 7. He came in, washed up, and came right to the dinner table. Oh, he didn't eat much, though, I'm afraid. I was even serving his favorite, liver and Brussels sprouts. Katie wrinkled her nose. She wasn't sure she would have eaten anything either. Anyway, when I arrived at the store the next morning, I found my entire supply of Curly's Cheesy Cheese Curls gone. I went straight to the security camera footage and saw Mike Mulligan peeking in the front windows. So I immediately called the police and came out front to wait for you to arrive. Did you actually see him taking the cheese curls? The chief asked. Elmer faltered. Well, not exactly. I only have the one camera and he stepped out of frame. But I'm sure he went around and broke through the back door. That's how the lock got broken. Most mysteries were easy to solve, Katie figured. You only needed to pay attention. Grown-ups were just too distracted by the details of everyday life to notice the little things. But clever Katie noticed them. Maybe that's why she wasn't buying the story Mr. Green was selling to Chief Putt. She wrote in the notebook she always carried with her and showed it to her father. Chief Putt read the note, then lowered a gaze at Elmer. The only frame that's going on here is the one you're trying to pull on Mike Mulligan. I think your cheesy cheese curl caper was pulled off by someone a little closer to home. What did Katie write in her notebook? See the solution on page 105. So put your thinking caps on while I turn to page 105 and see if you can figure out what Katie saw. And the solution is, Katie wrote 3 words: stain, dinner, and door. The 3 little details were enough to help Chief Putt solve the rest. Elmer was right. Curly's cheesy cheese curls were Freyburg's favorite snack food. They were also the messiest. They left orange crumbly stains on your fingers that smudged everything a snacker touched, including green bean cans. Reggie had stayed behind to stock the shelves, including the cans of green beans that had left a crumbly orange stain on the chief's uniform. He wasn't hungry for dinner that night, even though his mother was serving his favorite foods. Of course not. He was already full from eating all the cheesy cheese curls. But the real sneak was Elmer. He didn't like Mike Mulligan moving in on his grocery territory. So when he arrived at the store and figured out what his son had done and saw Mike sneaking a peek on the videotape, he saw a perfect opportunity to frame his competitor. But if he had gone straight to the front of the store like he told Chief Putt, he couldn't have known the back door lock was broken unless he had done it himself. And that is the Cheesy Cheese Curl Caper from the Curious Casebook of Katie Q. Putt. And what's even more fun about this book is that just like Katie found the fingerprints of the cheesy cheese curls on the green bean can, you can find fingerprints in your house when you learn how to make your very own fingerprint powder and dust for prints around your house and find out just who's been in the cookie jar.
Well done. Thank you so much. What a fantastic story. I can't wait to read the rest of that book. And thank you for your wonderful performance. That's so much fun. I hope you'll come back again and read for us another time.
I would love to do that.
Fantastic. I look forward to it. Thank you again for your time today. And everyone, check out the show notes to find out how you can find Melinda's books and learn more about her adult books as well. She writes for a whole bunch of people. Go to the show notes. You'll find a link there to click to her website. Thank you again, Melinda. I appreciate your time today.
You bet. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.